What's up, 10 Scale Squad? On this episode of Dumb Things to Do with RC Cars and just dumb ideas I have had in general, we have got this. I found this on the old Jungle website, and it was kind of expensive, especially for what it is. This, as I'm sure you're aware, is the Maserati MC20. An amazing, amazing, beautiful car. I would never buy one IRL, not only because I can't afford it, but it's probably, well, it's probably trash, let's be honest. But I bought this for one reason, and one reason only, the way that it looks. Toy grade RCs, not being held back by having Lexan bodies or easily upgradable, replaceable parts, they can really throw the book at getting these things super duper detailed. So here we have vertical doors that actually function. We have a really detailed interior. We've got a little molded engine under this engine cover here. Light buckets forward and backwards. I mean, it really does look spectacular. But the performance is pretty trash. So I thought, can we take this thing apart? Can we replace the bogus toy grade electronics with hobby grade electronics? And I don't want to just figure out a way to do a body swap on this thing. I want to actually retain the chassis, retain as much of it as possible, but just make it go like as good as it looks. So to do that, we are definitely going to have some challenges. Number one, although the website said that the steering was proportional, I thought, hey, maybe there's a servo in there that we could probably just upgrade with like a hobby grade servo. It's not. It is not at all. So this is what I mean by non-proportional. So if I turn the steering wheel, I get nothing, 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 and then maximum right. And here, that's actually a motor spinning. That's not a servo. That's a little motor spinning back and forth, turning the steering linkage. And there's hardly any steering angle at all. And it's not exactly what I would call smooth. The throttle, however, is somewhat proportional. There are actual steps. So if I pull the trigger a little bit, that's going to be low speed. Keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling. There we go. There's the second speed. Keep pulling, keep pulling. And there's the third speed. So with all that aside, there are a few things that actually surprised me, other than just the absolute crazy attention to detail. This does have some pretty clever things, like it has a fully open differential. I thought this would be just like a gear drive right to the rear tires, or maybe even just be one-wheel drive. And it does have what I think is like leaf spring suspension, maybe, or something similar to it. So there is a little bit of suspension in the chassis. That's good. That's good news, because we definitely want to make this thing faster, and part of that is going to be trying to keep this thing planted on the ground. The biggest challenge by far is going to be the steering. Figuring out how to install a servo and get the servo linkage connected and working, so what was controlled by a motor is now going to be controlled by a hobby grade steering doodle. I don't know how much room is underneath the body. We're going to need to mount ESC, a receiver, a servo, and a big chungus motor in this thing. Getting all of that to fit underneath the detailed body here, it's going to be a challenge. So what are our goals for this build? Well, obviously, we need to make this thing jam. So we got to add more power, baby. Number two, I would like to retain the stock look. We're going full sleeper here. The thing already looks pretty good, and we want to try and keep it that way. We don't need a bunch of wires and stuff hanging out of this thing. Let's try and maybe even church it up a little bit. 3 is going to be improve handling. This is going to be as simple as adding proportional steering. A little bit of steering goes a long way. And number 4, although it does look good, there's definitely some room for improvement. So let's see if we can make this thing shine. But before we do any of that, we should try and get some baseline numbers on this thing. Like, will it flip a donut? How fast is it really? Let's find out. Here you go, sir.
All right, it's all me, huh?
Oh yeah, you think you can handle the speed?
Maybe.
Yeah, well the box says, or the ad on Amazon said 12 kilometers per hour. Did we put a battery in it?
No, I think it's still
Okay, we got a battery in it now, and the the ad on Amazon, the listing said 12 kilometers an hour. That's about 6. It's about 6 miles per hour. All right. Oh yeah.
Ooh, you ready?
Yep. That's maximum berries right there. See, dude, we've got crawlers faster than that. But boy, does it look good doing it. Oh! Oh, she doesn't like the rock. Oh, man.
The door's open.
Dude,
Oh.
you should roll around. You should roll around with the door open, you know? That's right. That's right. Stunt on him. Stunt on him.
So.
Hold on, let me guess. They probably overestimated. I'm going to say 4.
6?
6? Oh,
man.
so the listing was actually right about the speed. They were wrong about pretty much everything else. Oh yeah, get it. I'm not gonna lie, this kind of reminds me of being a kid and like taking apart my toy remote control cars, which I always did, and some of them even made their way back together. Now, if it looks like I know what I'm doing, let me assure you that I do not. Not a whole lot of space for a lipo in there, but maybe with some grinding. Ah, there's a screw right here. All right, how about now? Oh yeah, bada boom. And look at that, we can simply unplug. Bam. Dude, shout out to Cow RC with this dope magnetic work mat they've got here. See, all my screws just bloop, get stuck to the mat, and I don't have to worry about losing them. So it actually looks like the motor, we should be able to take the motor out pretty easily, and it looks like just a standard, like maybe 380 sized motor, so we should be able to upgrade this. I'm not 100% sure about the gearing and if we're going to be able to upgrade that, but if we put a brushless system in here and increase the voltage, we should be able to increase the speed dramatically. And it actually looks like this whole motor assembly, and oh my gosh, it's got coilovers. No freaking way. That's actually pretty rad. That's actually pretty rad. Dang, okay, little car, okay. And here's where I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to steal all the electronics out of this old WL Toys buggy and use them in the Maserati. We've got multiple of these things, and its guts is going to live on in another project. The motor went right in the Maserati almost too easily, and I could start figuring out the gearing. To my surprise, the diff had 35-pitch gears, meaning I could use hobby-grade pinions on the motor, since the original motor pinion looked like it had just gotten out of the pool.
You mean shrinkage?
Yes, significant shrinkage.
The intermediate gear had to go as well, along with its wimpy little pin that held it in place. It just wasn't long enough for the new Macho El Grande gears, so I stole a drive pin from Ethan's Baja and it worked perfectly. The gear mesh is a disaster and there's no way it's fitting back in the original gearbox, but we're not going to let that stop us. This is why Sir Isaac Dremel invented the Dremel. That should get the Maserati to burn. Now, let's try and make it turn. So, as far as steering, I used a little bit of shoe goo and just glued the servo to the old servo motor housing. I had to do a lot of trimming to get the linkage to fit. But now we don't have very much, there's not very much travel in the servo from full lock to full lock. And I basically did it using just hardware, some Tamiya parts, and some shoe goo. It's not the most robust thing ever, but for our purposes, I think it should be fine. I can't remember what controller we have bound with this system. I guess we can use whatever. We can use whatever we want. But we'll have to use something where we can set the endpoints because we don't want a lot of servo travel. While Ethan tackled the wiring and binding, actually making things work, I disassembled the interior so I could work on the stuff like wrapping the engine cover in carbon fiber and adding some paint to the engine compartment components.
Go see.
While we waited for the paint to dry, it was
Work out
time
a
to
little
power
bit of
this
that
thing up
detail,
and
that's
test
all.
it. We weren't sure how well the plastic diff and axles would handle the new brushless system, and we had to dial the steering way back to make sure the servo didn't rip apart our Haggard linkage. But it was finally time to test it. Like it?
Yeah.
All right. Easy does it. Oh, yeah. How about turning? It turns. Good enough for me. Nice. Good job. With a successful test complete, we had to fit the body back on the chassis. It involved more grinding than high school prom, but the end result speaks for itself. A brushless powered, fully proportional Maserati MC20 using all hobby grade parts and real carbon fiber wrap. I think it looks pretty dang good, but now was the ultimate test. How much faster is it? What's the new top speed? 20 mile an hour? 30 mile an hour? Is this thing faster than a Kyosho? Faster than an infraction? Faster than Diddy fleeing the country? Probably. Behold the magnificence. Here we go. I'm just going to give it a little help here. It's increasing its speed. It's going faster. It's going faster. Hey. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Oh my God. Is that wide open? Oh no. Okay. All right. Please, God, give me 12 mile an hour at it. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. It's coming right for you.
It's not like in life anymore.
Oh, please, God, give me 12 miles an hour.
What's the verdict? 14.
Yeah, baby! Double the speed. And all it took was
Here we go.
way too much time. Yes, sir. Okay, so off camera, we discovered that the car is way faster in reverse. So fast, in fact, that it blew the tires right off of it. So we reversed the polarity of the motor, reversed the throttle input on the transmitter, and tried again.
Oh my God.
Yep. So we switched the motor leads around. We've got the receiver just hanging out inside the car. We gave it just a little test blip on the throttle, and it's going to be faster.
Completely blew the tires off.
It completely blew the tires off. The screws that hold the chassis to the body, it's getting pretty stripped. We're not going to be able to take that body off and on more than maybe one or two more times, and that's going to be it's going to be it.
Go run this away into oblivion.
Yeah. We got the GPS charge ed enough. So hopefully we've increased our range. We've definitely increased our top speed. Dude, I feel good about this.
I do not. Like, not even a little bit. All right, I'm going to try a walk away test.
Okay. So far, so good. Oh.
Like this.
So cogging has not been fixed. Here, I'll give you a little. Oh. Oh, way faster. Way faster. Oh, there goes a wheel. There goes a tire. Oh, Jesus. Was it faster?
Well, somehow upside down and backwards now. Hey, we hit 18.
Hey!
Before we completely yeeted a tire off of it.
I'm embarrassed.
I think Adam Sandler wrote a song about this.
Yeah. This thing is terrible. Where do we even begin? The tires, they just... I think the tires are permanently stretched.
To be fair, we made it terrible.
We did make it terrible.
Yeah, we stretched the tires. Nothing goes back together right anymore.
It's been taken apart and put back together so many freaking times. Even off camera, it was on and off, in and out, just a bunch of times. Let's focus on the positives, shall we? We tripled the speed out of this thing. That was numero uno. We wanted it to go faster, and it does. The second,
it's got cool doors.
It does have cool doors, and they still work
somehow.
I wanted it to retain its stock look, and for the most part, it does. It's not until you really start looking in there that you think, oh, well, that's a giant ESC sitting in the passenger footwell. So as far as...
I mean, it's no different than looking at a sleeper Civic. You look at it, and you're like, huh, that looks cool. Why is there a computer in there?
Yeah. Is that a giant intercooler? What? And I also wanted to improve the looks, and I think we did. Adding the details to the engine bay and just the exhaust, I think it really set it off. The lights, when they were working, was cool.
Then they all just
died.
Quit.
They all just
burn
died.
out.
Yeah.
Tried too much juice to them or something.
Man. And I wanted to make it serviceable, which is a big fail. This thing is not serviceable. Like I said, all the screws are getting to be stripped out in the plastic, and we could take this thing apart one more time, maybe two more times, and that's gonna be
You're gonna have to add super glue to those screws.
Yeah, and then you're never getting it apart again. So that's a big fail. It's not as fast as I had hoped. It doesn't handle...
I wouldn't say that. We just never got... I hadn't got a good chance to get it there.
Yeah.
The range issue, I don't know what's going on with that. I'm going to guess that there's probably why that receiver was just sitting in a random box for no good reason.
Yeah, it's got 25 mile an hour in it all day, but the chassis does not have 25 mile an hour in it all day.
We need like a gym floor.
The wheel, this is 12 scale, but the wheelbase is almost exactly the same as the Kyosho M05. So maybe potentially just doing a body swap. It would still require a bunch of modifications if we wanted to retain the interior, which I definitely do. If you want us to, maybe give this thing a GT2 livery with a wing and a front diffuser and maybe even chassis swap it and really make this thing go. Let me know if that's something you're interested in down below. Toy grade to hobby grade, bad idea. Don't do it. What am I saying? You should do it.
We should just put an old lipo in it, shoot it, and set it all on fire.
Anyway, if this is your first time checking out the channel, we like to do
shenanigans like this all the time. That did not work out well.
But next week we'll be back to your regularly scheduled bad ideas.
Yeah.
It's all, we don't have any good ones ever.